How you doing, everybody? I'm Tony Gaglione.
I'm Sean Adams.
And this is Smacktalk. We're broadcasting live from Blue Diamond Saloon, 6935 Blue Diamond Road, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89178. What we're doing tonight is we're doing our live show in Smacktalk. We're going to talk a little bit about Monday Night Football. We got the Detroit Lions, New York Giants. We're doing a little beer pong tournament. If you want to join up, we're doing sports trivia. It's our money. It's the pot at $2 and a shot of your choice. Let's start off with the first game. New York Giants.
I wouldn't even call it a game. The first quarter, it's like 4 minutes in, and Megatron goes deep for touchdowns twice. One of them was a wide open pass. It's like,
unbelievable.
Hey, the one guy you're supposed to cover, let's just leave him open, and maybe they won't notice.
No, it's cool. The second one was awesome because the second one was fantastic. The second one was fantastic because you had Megatron in the end zone, covered by a safety and a corner.
Yeah.
Okay, he made the one move and goes back, and Stafford is smart enough because I love Matthew Stafford, even though he's on the Detroit Lions, and I hate him because I'm a Bears fan.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is, he knows he's going back the other way, throws it on a lob the other way. Calvin goes back.
He says, peekaboo.
Yeah.
And
still catches it for a touchdown. Personally, Eli Manning looked terrible.
Oh, yeah.
The running game for the Giants doesn't open up anything for him as far as passing goes, so it kind of ruins the entire offense. Look, when you have a great passer like Eli Manning, if you have a great passer, you can call Phillip Rivers a great passer because he's a great passer. Point of the matter is, without the running game, you don't open up spots for the quarterback to throw to.
Yeah, well, I think the running game got going later in the game, but it got away from him at that point. You know, Jennings looked good. The rookie Andre Williams looked good, but it was after they're down. I think it was 21-7, and they weren't in the game because Eli had been sacked. He'd already thrown some picks.
And Detroit's defense. Talk about Detroit's defense. They stepped up to a level that I haven't seen them in years.
Yeah, and not like that, they were hurt by penalties where in years past, Lions defensive team that gets penalties would collapse after the penalty.
Sure.
They'd get a penalty, and they'd cinch down at that point. They get some crucial third down sacks. Just so you know, Calvin Johnson finished the game with 7 receptions, 164 yards, 2 TDs. He had 98 yards and 2 TDs in the first quarter.
That's insane. Fantasy owners are going crazy right now if they have Megatron.
Yeah, Eli threw 2 picks. That was the only 2 turnovers in the game.
But you have to see this. Look, we're watching highlights right now.
Yeah.
So you have to see this. When the safety is coming across, and you see the safety coming across, and the wide receiver is covered by 2 corners, you still throw the ball in triple coverage, basically.
You know, he was under pressure, so he got on the move. I think he wanted to put the ball in a different location, and because he's on the move, his body's not set. He doesn't get enough oomph on the ball, and kind of let it float there, let up the interception.
No, yeah. I understand your point altogether. There was another interception that was, I think it was called back. It was an incomplete pass, but the tight end completely missed his route.
Yeah.
As we're watching right now.
We saw that in a few games yesterday. Early in the season, in the season, you get guys that are on the same page. Rushing attempts, Reggie Bush looked great in this game.
You know what?
Bell did a good job. Besides his fumble,
you know what's funny to me is that a lot of people knocked the Houston Texans at first for picking Mario Williams first overall over Reggie Bush, and Reggie Bush went to the Saints. And then, it's praise. Mario Williams is fantastic. If you look at it now, I think people are singing a different story, don't you think?
Reggie Bush got it done in New Orleans. Few punt returns that are memorable.
No, he did all right.
He did. He proved he was an inside runner in Miami, and now he's in a Detroit offense that fits his style of play.
And he's destroying stuff.
He's destroying it.
He's destroying. Mario Williams got traded from Houston to Buffalo.
And
he's doing well.
Bears yesterday.
He's doing well. Yeah, man. Thanks for rubbing that in. He's doing well. However, he's not the caliber of Reggie Bush.
No, definitely. Look, it's definitely a mistake. It's like the Portland Trail Blazers not picking Michael Jordan. You know, it's going to go down as one of those things. Reggie Bush is going to play because of the type of back it is. He's going to have a prolonged career. It helps that everywhere he's been a spelled back. He had Chris Ivory and Pierre Thomas in New Orleans. He had Lamar Miller in Miami. And now he's got Jaquie Bell, and you got an offense. It's a pass-first offense. So it's not like he's got to pound it 20, 30 times a game.
He's not opening up holes for the passing game. The passing game is actually opening up holes for him.
That's right.
Which is great for Reggie Bush because he's a speed running back. He's a scat back, like people like to call it, with like a Darren Sproles.
That's right.
Or something like that. Only he's the featured back in Detroit, so it makes a huge difference. You know what I'm saying? Scores in the NFL: Denver beat Indianapolis 31-24. Even though I turned the game off. And I thought Denver was running away with this damn thing.
Yeah, I left your house. It was over. 3 touchdowns by Julian Thomas. It just goes to show you.
Yeah, and whoever has Julius Thomas is tearing stuff up in fantasy right now. Oakland beat Tampa Bay 20-14. Josh McCown, the guy who I was playing in fantasy,
Carolina beat Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah, Carolina. I'm sorry. Josh McCown, the guy who was playing Josh McCown, obviously saw last year that Josh McCown did well for the Bears, which it was a fluke in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
he threw one of the worst interceptions in the history of the NFL. Speaking of that game, Derek Anderson looked great. People forget that he led the Browns to a 10-6 record. He's basically said he can do everything that Cam Newton can do. He scrambled for first downs in that game. He was 26 of 34, 260-something yards and 2 TDs. They win the game.
That's a great stat.
Didn't really have a running game. D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart had mediocre yardage, so he pretty much carried that team, that and the defense.
All right, let's talk about your ladies' team right now and our boss's team. Dallas Cowboys lost to San Francisco 28-17.
They lost in the first quarter.
Yeah. DeMarco Murray. We got another boy over here who's a Cowboys fan. DeMarco Murray with the fumble to start the game. Ran back for a touchdown. I think it's safe to say that even without Aldon Smith and the players they're missing on San Francisco, that the defense won the game for them.
Yeah, the defense gave – it's easy to play a game when you take a 21-point lead off of 3 turnovers. It's easy to play a game. It makes your defense look better. I think Dallas, DeMarco Murray, even though he had a fumble, looked good. Romo later in the game looked okay. But that's never going to cut it for the Cowboys because they have defensive problems, although the defense did all right because they held the 49ers offense.
No, wasn't bad.
It's hard to do when you play in from behind. You know what I mean? Let's move on. The big upset, Miami. No Sean Moreno in Miami. They beat New England Patriots at home.
We got a big New England Patriots fan in the house, Ryan Meir. Unfortunately, he's in depression from this one. Tom Brady did
Nothing.
Mediocre.
Nothing.
No Sean Moreno proved that he is a first back. When you saw him in Denver, he got a lot of reception yards from Peyton Manning, and everybody's saying, well, it's Peyton Manning. He's opening up holes for him, things like that. No Sean Moreno rushed for 131 yards and a touchdown yesterday.
Yeah, yep.
So I think that proves and that solidifies, especially against the Patriots defense, when you're facing Bill Belichick. It doesn't matter really who you are. Bill Belichick is a genius.
Yeah, when it comes to defense, that's right.
He's a first-string running back anywhere in this league.
Other games, Jake Locker looked good. The Tennessee Titans demolished the Kansas City. It was actually 26-3 for the longest time. Kansas City got a late touchdown.
Yeah, it was tough.
Jake Locker went undefeated, or not undefeated, threw new interceptions, managed the game well. They don't really have a running game. Sean Green's hurt. Kendall White looked pretty good. Houston, J.J. Watt took over a game.
Shocking.
I have these stats here for fantasy people. J.J. Watt, I think, finished with a sack, a forced fumble recovery, a blocked extra point, a deflected pass,
I think it was the punt
for a loss. Yeah,
the punt. Yeah, and Blue got
J.J. Watt is a beast. He just got a big contract too. So good for him.
Another surprise to me was New Orleans losing to Atlanta.
That wasn't a surprise to me. We talked about this.
It was an upset pick. I mean, we both talked about it personally, but the Vegas odds had New Orleans.
Yeah, Vegas odds. Oh, it's New Orleans. You know what I mean?
You know, they had them pretty heavy.
Ryan had 448 yards.
Unbelievable.
A franchise record, 3 TDs, no interceptions.
Fantastic. And you know what I think is a big part in that is Roddy White is back now.
Yeah,
Roddy White is back.
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones is back.
Both healthy.
They don't have to worry about feeding the ball to Michael Turner. They got Steven Jackson as like a pound the ball
and
type guy.
Jacquizz Rodgers.
Jacquizz Rodgers, third down scat back. I love it.
I like it.
New Orleans, Drew Brees threw for a ton of yards. It was over 300 yards, but he didn't have a touchdown.
That's right.
Every time they got into the red zone, they handed the ball off to Mark Ingram,
yeah.
Heisman Trophy winner out of Alabama,
Yep.
and he scored 2 touchdowns himself. So, I mean, it was a good game for him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Thursday night game.
The Thursday night game, Seattle just demolished Green Bay.
Made them look bad.
Made them look real bad.
For a team that Bleacher Report has going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl, they don't look like they were even a playoff team in that game.
They're not. I'll tell you right now, they're not.
All right, who do you got in the NFC North going to the playoffs then?
I got the Bears and the Lions going to the playoffs.
Bears and the Lions.
I got the Lions winning the
opposite.
division. It has nothing to do with this game. I picked the playoff team out of the NFC, and I'll tell you right now, this was on Facebook before the NFL season. The Eagles will win the division. You'll have the Falcons and the Saints go to the playoffs in the South. You'll have the Bears and the Lions, and you'll have the Seahawks win their division. And the 49ers will miss out on the playoffs. The Giants, the Redskins, the Cowboys, and all those other teams will miss out.
A couple other headlines in sports right now in the NFL. Ray Rice released by the Baltimore Ravens. Why? Because he punched his wife in the face.
Yeah, the video was released yesterday via TMZ, and it's not a good video to watch.
Originally, Roger Goodell suspended him for 2 games after seeing that she was already knocked out when she came out of the elevator.
Yeah.
Now that the elevator photos and video came in of her actually getting knocked out by Ray Rice, now all of a sudden the Ravens want to release him.
The NFL's suspended him indefinitely. Okay, so here's what I got.
So I have a question for you. Go ahead first, though.
Okay, so Roger Goodell admitted he dropped the ball when he established the domestic violence policy of 6 games.
Oh, you're damn right he did.
Now he looks like even more of a fool because there's no way you can expect the public to believe that you didn't see that video until yesterday.
Oh, you're damn right. You're damn right. He knew it was there. The only problem is the NFL doesn't care about Ray Rice hitting his wife. The NFL cares about what they look like when Ray Rice is on their team.
That's right.
So basically the Baltimore Ravens just said, oh, we look bad because we have a guy who beat the crap out of his wife.
Cut him.
And so they cut him.
Yep.
And now the only team that I can think of that'll pick him up is the Cowboys because they don't beat anybody.
Well, here's one thing. I said this on the show a few weeks ago. When the NFL suspended Ray Rice for 2 games, you send a very bad message to your female fans.
You're damn right.
And for them, okay, so you wash that over because there's been time since that suspension was issued. And for this to happen opening week of the season, it gives the NFL a black eye. And it makes Roger Goodell look like a fool. And I think Roger Goodell needs to step down because it's one thing, okay, I'm going to go over the punishments. You get caught for smoking weed, 4-game punishment, first-time offense. You drop Somali at the Kentucky Derby, a la Wes Welker, 4-game punishment. If you brutally abuse animals, you get suspended indefinitely, reinstated after you do your prison time. You hit a man while
shoot
drunk.
yourself in the leg.
I'll get there. You hit a man while drunk. you hit a man while you're drunk. You go to jail. You get suspended for a year. If you shoot yourself in the leg, you don't harm anyone else. You hurt yourself.
You had a gun.
Plexico Burress, you get suspended for a year.
Yeah.
Ruin your career. If you beat a woman, 2 games. Hey. Now it's 6 games.
Oh, now, yeah.
And
then the second time is a ban.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why that came out to begin with.
The second time is a ban.
No. Yeah,
hey, you can hit her once. 6 games.
Just don't hit her twice.
Just don't hit her twice. What kind of message is that?
It's absolutely appalling.
Yeah,
is what it is. It's absolutely appalling. This guy obviously has Napoleon syndrome because he's about as tall as myself or you, and
as tall as you, Tony.
Everybody's taller than me. Either way, in the elevator, you saw, his wife came at him, but his wife is a female. His wife is 100 pounds soaking wet.
He's a football player.
He's got 22s over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
All right.
That should have been the punishment to begin the first time.
The first time, yep. And then when the investigation comes out, then you can reinstate him if he had truly.
There's no reinstating.
No, you could have reinstated him had he had truly done nothing wrong. See what I'm saying?
Sad part about this whole thing is that woman actually married this guy.
Yeah, a month after she got knocked out in an elevator.
Actually married this guy. Another guy, a running back, who got released by their team is LaMichael James from the San Francisco 49ers. He actually asked for the release, which I can understand because there's so many guys in the running back position on that team that are getting carries, and he's not getting carries.
Yeah.
He's a scat back. He's a Darren Sproles. He's a Jacquizz Rodgers. He deserves to be in a place where the offense is high-powered passing, and they can look for him in the flats. That is Jim Harbaugh's Stanford-style offense. Is a big. We're watching the Cardinals, and we're watching the Chargers. Cardinals just intercepted Phillips Rivers' pass, and they're down inside the red zone.
Yeah, LaMichael James, he deserves to get a shot because he hasn't gotten one.
No, not at all, except for a kick returner. I mean, I see a lot of guys as kick returners, and then they get traded around, and they end up being all-pro players. You know what I'm saying? So I think LaMichael James is going to land somewhere, and he'll do just fine.
Yeah, to be fine. All right, so the rest of the NFL scores that we didn't cover. Minnesota whooped St. Louis 34-6. Philadelphia came back from a 17-0 halftime deficit to Jacksonville to win 34-17. The Jets and CJ2K and Chris Ivory, who look great together, beat the Oakland Raiders. No surprise there, 19-14.
Philly coming back against Jacksonville. Jacksonville was up 17-0, and Philly comes back and wins 34-17.
Yeah.
34 unanswered points.
Yeah, in the second half. A lot of that's Darren Sproles. He had a 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter. 4th and 1, 49-yard TD off a 4th and 1. He also had 2 big punt returns in that game to bring them back in the second half.
Sure.
Cincinnati upset Baltimore. Another shout-out to A.J. Green, Cincinnati wide receiver. They're winning the game 15-0 most of the game, kicking field goals. Baltimore gets back in the game and takes a lead on a 2-point conversion, goes up 16-15. Immediately, A.J. Green deep, 77 yards.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. It was a fantastic play.
One
last thing before we end segment 1. We're going to do segment 2. At halftime of this game between the Chargers and the Cardinals. Also, we're going to do sports trivia at halftime of this game between the Chargers and the Cardinals. You're going to get our money plus the $2 entry fee and a shot of your choice. Also, we're going to do some beer pong over here. Not really a tournament, just having fun, playing some beer pong. Enjoy yourself. And NCAA drops Penn State's postseason ban.
It's ridiculous.
I don't think it's ridiculous because Jerry Sandusky had nothing to do with Penn State football in the last
he just molested
10 years.
Boys in their shower.
No, he molested boys in the shower. We saw that, we heard about that.
That's a Penn State facility?
I'm just saying, bro. He had nothing to do with the last 10 years. So you can't punish these kids for going to Penn State and enjoying their academic scholarships for something that a guy did 10 years beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Yes, you can.
The NCAA lifted it. NCAA lifted it. It is what it is.
If you can punish USC for Reggie Bush and Pete Carroll and they're not there anymore, they got banned from postseason play. If you can do that to guys that had nothing to do with Pete Carroll,
so what did
Reggie
they do?
Bush,
They waited until USC wasn't in the top 25, then they banned him from postseason play because they knew they were just going to make the Alamo Bowl or something like that.
It happened in a Penn State facility. Anyways, stay tuned for segment 2. I'm Sean Adams.
Tony Gaglione.
Watch for the bounce.